Hi folks, Connie Paul here with another away day guide. This one is for Southampton. Anyone heading down to St Mary's for an away day, everything you need is coming up. Okay, the Saints. Used to call the Dell home, moved to St Mary's at the beginning of the century. Sounds a long time ago when I say it like that, but early 2000s. The new home takes its name from a nearby church, St Mary's Church, nice and simple. And the capacity is around 32,500. You'll get about 3 for away fans. Originally you were housed to the right hand end of the Northland stand with the Kingsland corner. They redeveloped it a bit when you're installing the rail seating. So in recent seasons we will be to the left of the goal as you're looking at it. So the southwest corner of the stand. The views are decent, the concourse is plenty big enough, not like some of these cramped ones, but it's a modern stadium so it's going to be alright. For those coming in on train, Southampton Central Station is your nearest. Just be careful when you're booking, as Southampton Airport pops up as a kind of default. It's a few quid cheaper, but you're right to the north of the city and it's not very handy for getting in, getting out, especially if you're under time pressure after the game, so keep that in mind. The station itself's got decent connections around the country with cross-country trains running up through Birmingham and Manchester, and Southwestern Railways running from Weymouth in the west right into London Waterloo Station, so decent links there. You can also use Southern if you're coming in from Brighton, but you'll know that if you're local down there anyway. If you're driving in, there's no major car parking to really mention that's worth it for thousands of people heading there, but there's quite a lot dotted around the marina area to the northeast of the ground. You're also going to find bits and bobs in the city, but be aware of road signs. There's quite a few small businesses that open up the car parks on match days and that, so you should drop on quite nicely. If you're staying over and coming on train, the handiest one at a decent value is the Budget Ibis right in front of Central Station, just across the roundabout, and there's a walkway down into it. Or if you're driving in and staying, there's plenty of parking there, so they should be able to accommodate you. And you can find that at the What Three Words of Asleep, Fortunate, Deeper, which is quite appropriate for a hotel. If you're looking for one closer to the away-friendly pubs, there's one right on this sort of large central roundabout in the city called the Leonardo. There used to be a Jurians, but that's reasonably priced as well. There are some really expensive ones with it being a port, so they get plenty of business, but yeah, these are the two best value ones I've found in their category of large hotel. That one's not so great for parking with it being so central, but if you're using public transport to get in and you want to be handy for the bars, it's a little bit closer to the ground as well. This one might be for you. You can find it at City Dozed Spaces, which will get you to the reception. Also not a bad What Three Words for a hotel. And then moving on to pubs, you've got a designated away fans pub partway between the station and the football ground, right on the main road, just on your right, sort of second building around the corner. You'll hear all the fans and you'll see the police parked outside and everything because it's the go-to pub for away supporters. That's the Yates's, and it's an update match voted. It does get very, very busy. There'll be one in, one out as you get near it to the match. It is over 2 floors. There's a balcony area. You'll see fans packing out the upstairs as well as down, but it's very much the meeting point for the away fans. If it is full, there is another one just up the road from there. So that's actually on a street called Above Bar Street. That carries on over the main road that you've just been walking up. And on your right, about 100 metres or so up the road, you've got the Scholars Arms, which used to be called the Frog and Parrot for anyone that's been before. But they're now actively encouraging away fans as well. It's on the Southampton Football Club's recommendations for away pubs. And you can find that at Toxic Hero Outfit. And then a bit closer to the ground, another one recommended by the club is the Prince of Wales. It's sort of on a road in just as you come over the river. I went a couple of seasons ago. They didn't seem bothered that we were away fans, so we were welcome, but there was nobody else in there. So it's probably going to be hit and miss. It might work for some of the parking because there's some parking over that bridge. So if you've driven in a minibus or you've got a designated driver and heading in that way, it might work for you there. It's the first one you'll find, and that's at Squad Stop Chew. But after that one, we went and found Brown's, which is a couple of streets closer, and you can actually, from inside the pub, you can see the ground outside the window. You can see the sort of triangular supports on the back of the stands, and that's going to be your closest one at the stadium. That's mixed again. It's got signs all over saying visiting supporters welcome, but it's home and away. So it's a good atmosphere. It's more of a family pub. I wouldn't head there in mass numbers and expect coach loads of fans to get served. It's small, but what they do well. So that's worth a try, especially if you're meeting a friend down there that's a Southampton fan. They do have 3 fan zones behind the Northam stand, the Kingsland stand and the Chappelle stand, creatively named Northland, Kingsland and Chappelle fan zones, which I thought was quite clever. And there's a little bit of debate as to whether you can get in there as an away fan. The general consensus is you can't, so with the pubs being a decent walk away from there, I won't bother risking it unless you've particularly been invited. It may be one of those things where the club has it as a default home fan zone, but then opens it up to certain supporters if they've got a good relationship with them. So when you are heading up to the ground,
for anyone that's been before, at the start of the 24-25 season, they've moved the visiting supporters to the opposite corner of the stand. So you want to be on the southwest corner, which is the corner of the Kingsland and the Chappelle stand.
If you're coming in from the Yates' or the Scholars Arms, you'll be coming along the main road and over a great little footbridge that's a tunnel over the railway line, and it's great for getting some songs going over there because the acoustics are brilliant.
As you come off the footbridge, carry straight on. Previously you would have turned left. Keep the stadium to your left until you get to the other end of it, and that's the corner you want to be at. Rate entertainer badly is your what 3 words to get you there, and you may get a little joy getting into the Chappelle fan zone, but it's a bit hit and miss, so don't rely on it.
Once you get in, it's a decent little ground. Most of the atmosphere and noise is from the same end that the visiting supporters are in anyway, so it'll feel like you've got a bit of banter going between, unless you're hammering them, or they're hammering you, I guess. The concourse, as I say, it's quite wide, plenty of facilities, it's good crack. You can get a good atmosphere going in there pre-game, plenty of room to mill around and be reasonably comfortable, unlike some of these really cramped ones that we can find ourselves stuck in. So worst case scenario, if you do end up at the ground and you can't get into a fan zone and you don't fancy walking off to the pubs, you can get in the concourse early. The prices are reasonably fair for a football ground, and it's not going to be the worst experience in the world. Quite like Southampton as an away day. I like the fact that you've got a few options for pubs. Parking could be better, but that is what it is. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers. If you found this useful, you can help me out by clicking the subscribe button. It's free of charge and it really does help. You can also drop a like on the video itself, and why not share it with friends if you think they'll find it useful.